All right, I'm going to walk through setting up Propresenter. Spotify always open, so I'm going to quit that. But I'm just going to do the whole thing and walk you through it. First, we have Propresenter open here. We had Easter last weekend, so the first thing I see is that there is a slide missing here. So if you have to, what I do is I go through the announcement scroll and I just make sure that all of these announcements are current, and I remove anything that's not current. So this one is over, so I'm going to right click on that and hit delete and get rid of that one, and just make sure that all of these are still current announcements that need to be added. And then I would add anything that isn't in here that needs to be. So if you open the media bin, you can go to announcement slides, and here's where we store all of our announcements. And so I'm just gonna look through and see if there's anything that needs to be added. There's a game night coming up, and so I'm gonna add that, and I'm just gonna drag and drop it. If I put it like this, it'll replace that slide. If I go to where there's a line, it'll put it next to that slide. So I guess I'll just drop it there. There it goes. Let's see. I think, this slide needs to go in, and this one's important, so we're going to put it up first. I think that is everything, but there's still this question mark here that we need to, we had Easter last weekend, and so this is usually the welcome slide, and it said celebrate Easter instead, so I have that slide in the sermon series folder. Here's welcome, so I'm just going to drag and drop it right there. So that's how you add new slides to the scrolling announcements. You will notice that the countdown clock is not present on the new slides that I added. The game night also doesn't have a countdown clock. So what you do is when you're inside this element of the Propresenter, the announcement scroll slides, you'll just go, so you can click on it or something to make sure that it understands you're talking about these slides right here. You'll go to theme and choose countdowns, and then choose the only countdown option there is. And when I click on this, you'll see that it adds the countdown clock to all the slides. So that way, when the countdown clock is started, it will show up here. Otherwise, it would disappear from the slides that don't have it. So when you add new slides, you just need to add that countdown clock to everything. Then I just go to the next portion of the service, the welcome slide. It's important to notice these slides with all the cues on them. Don't delete those. We have one at the beginning of most things, and then two at the end if there are some camera cues. There's a lot you could learn about those. We don't have to get into that though, I think, because most of the time they just stay the same. Just don't delete those. But there are some images missing because it was Easter last weekend, and so we need to put a welcome slide there. So I'll do that. And then also at the end, these need to be welcome slides as well. And then these three slides in the middle are just announcement slides. So what we do is we want to go to Planning Center and see what we have planned for this weekend. I guess I'm going to log myself in. So here we are. We have Great Commission Weekend. If I had 100, hymn sing, and apprenticeship to Jesus. Those slides need to be in here in this order. So announcement slides, Great Commission Weekend. I've already forgotten. If I had 100, hymn sing. If I had 100, hymn sing, apprenticeship to Jesus. Actually, let's see here. This worship night needs to be in there as well as part of the Great Commission Weekend, as does game night. So I should have listed that here on the order of service, but if you don't know those little details, just do what it says here. That's our fault for not communicating it, but I happen to know that when I do announcements this weekend, I'm going to do Great Commission Weekend, talk about how we have a game night as part of that, and how we have a worship night as part of that. Actually, it'll probably go like this. Game night, Great Commission Weekend, again, worship night, and then if I had 100, hymn sing, apprenticeship to Jesus. So that's how that needs to look. There are two slides here, just because this one will go up during my prayer as the band is coming up and everything, but this one actually has all of the camera cues because we don't want the camera cues to change until after I'm done and the band is until after the announcement person is done and the band is coming up. So this one is the camera cue stuff. You don't need to know all that. Just leave these slides at the beginning and end and only change the stuff in the middle. So then we're on to songs, and we need to see what songs we are doing this weekend. First, I select all the songs that we did last weekend. If you hold Command, it's the Apple button next to the space bar, or it says Command on it. If you're on an Apple computer, you can select multiple things, and then you can just right click and say delete, and it just removes the songs. So let's see what songs we have. We make space, It Is Well, Rescue. So what you do is go to the library. Well, actually, it might be easier to go Command F. That means find. It opens the search window for the library. So Command F. And here's the library. So we make space. And there it is. So I just drag and drop it. Rescue was one of the songs. And I've already forgotten. It Is Well, and then Rescue. Command F again to bring up the library. It Is Well. And this is this song. Yeah, that's right. Well, we have two It Is Well, so I just want to make sure I got the right one. We make space, It Is Well, Rescue. We make space, It Is Well, Rescue. And then Run to the Father is the closing song. Command F again. Run to the Father. There it is our response song. Okay. I like to just look at these slides and make sure that there's a background on the first slide of the first song. We don't put any cues here because these songs get moved around different orders, so all the cues are in the previous item. So we just need a background there. So media, backgrounds, and I just choose one that I feel like I haven't used in a while that I like. How about this one? And then I just make sure that there are no backgrounds on the other songs. If there is a background, say on this song, I would right click on it and I would say remove, and it would have the background image I could remove. Go down to the last song. The last song needs the background image. Otherwise, it'll keep the background from the sermon notes. So put it on there. Same one. And then just make sure that everything looks good. The only other thing we check on the songs is that there is a light cue at the beginning. It would have a little M. And this song does not have a light cue. And so I go over here to the M. These are all of our light cues. And I choose the music set lights. I just drag and drop it here. And you can see the little M shows up. So that just needs to be on the first song. It also happens to be on the second song, but that's okay. It's the same light cue. It won't change anything. I should maybe just put that light cue on all of our songs, but there needs to be one on the lights change for the sermon too. As you can see, there's a light cue on the sermon. And so then at the end of the sermon, when the next song starts, the lights need to change for Run to the Father. And there is an M there, so we don't have to worry about that. If you forget that step, we're just going to have the lights from the welcome announcements during the worship time, which is not the end of the world, but they just won't change. And I created a special look for worship that I kind of like. So that's all there is to that. Everything looks fine. The last thing we have to do is the message notes. But actually, I'm going to skip ahead and do the send-off slides just because I don't want to forget. We changed the announcement scroll slides at the beginning, and the send-off slides are different, but they need to be basically the same thing. It's just without the welcome. So this slide is missing because of Easter, but it needs to be the sermon series. Let's see here. So we'll do this one that says current on it. Just drop that in there. Most times you don't have to change that stuff because it's already there from before. Oh, also, there's nothing in the benediction. We better put that up as well. Sermon series goes there. Okay, so we just need to make sure that all of these slides are the same as the beginning, and we can't mess with this first slide that has the cues. So I'm going to go, this is the easiest way I think. I'm going to go to the beginning, and I'm just going to select all these. You can click and drag and lasso them all, I guess, like this. Another thing to do would be when you click on this section of the songs, you can push Command A, and that will select them all. And then Command C copies them. I suppose you can right click and hit copy as well. But now that I've copied them, I'm going to take it all the way down to the bottom here. And I'm going to select this slide. Well, let's just right click on it and say paste. There, it popped all the slides in down below. We can now delete this first slide because we don't want a welcome slide here. And we can actually delete all of these slides except for this one. This will be our first slide, and we'll delete everything after it until here, I guess. So I just hold Command and I select them all so that they're blue. I'm holding Command with my thumb, and then I will right click on it and say delete. And so those all disappear, and now we just have the same slides as at the beginning, just without the welcome. So yeah, that's all there is to that. Now we just have to do the message notes, which is maybe the most tedious part, but let's walk through that. I don't mean to make it sound worse than it is. It's not terrible. It's just a little more involved than the rest. So again, we want to edit just the middle slides, but not the first slide that has the cues on it. And at the end, again, just like the welcome, there's 2 slides that need to just stay here. This one's that when when the preacher's praying, this slide can go up, but it doesn't change any camera stuff. And then this one that changes the camera stuff, and it changes the confidence monitor. So this one's just a slide for cues. But because we don't want it to change until the prayer is done, we needed some sort of buffer slide there. So there's 2 of them. Anyway, we don't want to delete these 2 slides or the slide at the beginning. So what I like to do is click on one of them. So I'm in this section, and then I just push Command A again to select everything. You can see everything's blue. And then I hold Command down to deselect. Oh, actually that didn't work. Oh, okay, it did work that time. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't hold it well enough. So I do Command A to select everything, and then I hold Command and deselect the slides that I want to keep. This first slide, I want to keep the last 2 slides. So now they won't be deleted. And then I usually keep one of these slides that has the underlines in it as a place to put my notes that I'm going to add. So I'll just deselect that, and then I'll just right click on these and say delete. So I delete everything else. Where did we go here? We deleted so much it moved our screen around. Okay, so here we are. We have the slides that need to stay, and then we have this slide that we can edit. So I'm going to click on that section of the song and go to edit. And now we just have like PowerPoint here, and we can actually type in these boxes and stuff. So we're just not going to mess with this first slide or these bottom 2, but we're going to copy this slide over and over and make as many notes as we need to. So I emailed Josh's notes to this computer. You could open your own email here and pull it up. Either way, you just need to get to Josh's Propresenter notes here. Open the document, and then let's take a look at the notes and see what we can put together here. So I just like to drag it kind of over here. Maybe I drag this over so I can reach them. And the first note is, he says he wants a series slide, and he wants this note. So what I do it in this order. You can do it however you want, but I find that I just put in the notes that have the underlines and stuff. I skip the scriptures at first, just put in all the notes. I skip the series slide stuff. I put in these notes and these quotes, I guess, and then I go back in and add the scriptures, and then I go back in and add the series slides, and then I check it all. I go through each slide one at a time and just make sure every piece is in. But let's go ahead, and that's how I do it. You could do it whatever order you want, but I just copy this. Command C will copy. You can also right click and say copy. And then over here, this is important. You want to paste it in with the same font formats and stuff. And so there's really no way to do that except for this keyboard shortcut. So it's a long one, but you hold Command Option Shift V, and that will paste in the content but keep the formatting. Command Option Shift V. It's a trick you'll want to learn. So put it in there, and then we just have to put in the underlines. It's in and name. So double click on the word. Command U is underline. You could also click on underline over here. Name needs to be underlined. We'll do it that way this time. And then I just want this slide to display by underlines and not bullet points. And so you can go over here to build. It was already on underlines, so we wouldn't have to do this. But if, let's say it was a bullet point list and you want to change it, that's under build. And here it says delivery, underline. You can change that to by bullet point, and then each bullet point would come up on each click. As the Propresenter operator clicks forward, it will bring up the next bullet point. But we have it on underline, so it's going to show up with blanks where the underlines are, and it's going to fill in each underline as the Propresenter operator clicks forward. So that stays with the slide. So as we copy and paste this slide, it will stay on underline. And the only reason we would need to go to build is if we need to change it from underline to bullet or to all at once, which just means it's not going to have any options. It's just going to display the whole slide at one time. So if we don't need to change it, it looks like a lot of his notes are just underlines. So we probably don't need to change it. Maybe this scripture here we'll put up. It's kind of in a weird format. Maybe we do that as bullet points. But anyway, you can just make decisions of how you want this to look. But I'm going to copy and paste this slide now to do the next note. Command C will copy and Command V will paste it right afterwards. You could also right click and say duplicate or copy and paste. And then I just make sure we're selected on that slide. And now we have another place to put the next note, which is this quote. Copy that, Command C, select this text. I triple click to select it, or you can push Command A to select all, and then it's Command Option Shift V. There it is. Wow, that needs some work. So the text box is just a little small. I'm just gonna make that bigger, see if we can fit it all. Yeah, that fits perfectly. Okay. I always have a background option that is more blank than the rest, and because we're putting so much text on this page, I'm going to switch that background. So I go back to the show, bring up our backgrounds, and under sermon series here, slide over sermon series, we have this one, message blank. I'm just going to pop that one on there, make it a little cleaner. Anyway, I would go through and just add all the sermon notes and then go back in and add the scripture. So let's go ahead and do a scripture here. This first one comes after. So we have, why do we pray in Jesus' name? We have that slide. Then we need a series slide. So we'll add that series slide next. I wouldn't use the one that says current. I just used the blank, or just the title slide. So put that title slide in, series slide like he asked for. And then this scripture needs to go in. So I copy that, Command C to copy. Get rid of our media. And then I go to the Bible, and you can choose the translation here. We have two to choose from. It's always New Living Translation unless they specify for something else. And I just paste the scripture in there and hit return or enter, and it brings up the scripture. I just select all of these. Probably the best way is to push Command A, and it selects them all mixed in blue. Command C to copy. Go back to the show. And I want it to go after the slides, so I select that slide and push Command V. Oh, it added it to the end. Okay, this slide needs to be blue. Hold Command and click on it. Now it's blue. And push Command V. Now it puts it after the slides. If you don't want to learn that, or if you forget and it goes to the end, you can just select them all. This would be tedious though. And just drag them to the right spot. But probably better just hold Command, select it so it's blue, and Command V will put it all in. All right, there's our scriptures. So I would just keep working on that until it is all exactly as he's laid out here. At the end, I just double check it and I watch my slides over here. So Josh is getting up to preach. His first slide is this, and it should have two blanks. So let's check it. Yeah, blank, and then blank fills it in as they click forward. Then the next slide, series slide like he says, and then scripture 16 through 24. I just look at these numbers down here: 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, good, we got that. And then I just keep going. We would have this slide next. So I just check all of that, make sure it all flows the way that it's supposed to. And then if it is, then I'm done, because we have done the announcements scroll. We've put in our announcements for that day by looking at Planning Center to see what is being announced. We have put in the songs and made sure there's a background at the start and a light cue at the start of the set list. Made sure these songs are in. Message notes we've done, or we would have done. I didn't finish them, but you can finish them. And then our closing song, Run to the Father. Background has a light cue. That shall be fine. We have the benediction slide, and then the scrolling send-off. So that's all there's to it. I know that is kind of a little bit complicated, but just work your way through it. Hopefully the things that I talked about, the keyboard shortcuts, are helpful and memorable, I guess. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your help putting this together.